Okay, so here is our editorial. Have you seen what's happening in town right now? I saw a demonstration today. As you can see pictures of it on the screen. There was burning of ties. The demonstrators were watered, I believe, with police hot water and all of that. But the whole situation is about the declaration of the results of election 2020. And there's major concerns about what is happening. Now, tonight, I'd like to bring to you a solution that you have heard before, but I'm going to ground the solution in our history, the solution to the problem. So the elections occurred on 7th of December. Ballots were counted on the 9th of 7th of December. And then media houses have been accused of declaring results on the same 9th of 7th of December, some on the 9th of 8th December. We here have been accused of declaring results. I'd like to say something simple about that the media's declaration of results or the media's projections they make is inconsequential to the validity of the election's outcome. And it's always been the case. I mean, TV3 has been accused of saying NPP had won 146 seats. That's inconsequential. That's of no moment. That's immaterial. Today, the Electoral Commission says that the NPP have won 137 seats. That's what will stand. What the Electoral Commission says is what will stand. So political parties ought not to be concerned about what media says, except if they can show that what media says is either diabolic or etc., etc. There's no problem about what media says. Media can say what they want. Particularly private media can say anything they want about elections. Media have to be circumspect and etc., etc. All of the limitations on the media are contained in the GJ's Code of Ethics. So we can sit in the studio and say that the NPP has this result and the NDC has this result. It was this our studio that an NDC guest projected that Jogate was losing his constituency as Adom-Otchere. Minutes after that projection was made, live on a television program here, Jogate himself phoned into the studio and said he's not losing the seat. We published that as well. So I think that tensions must come down. This issue about media said is inconsequential, is of no moment. A political party is not going to lose election because the media said they have lost. And a political party does not win election because media said they have won. A political party wins election when the official constitutional referee of the event, the Electoral Commission, says that they have won. That's what happens. That's how political parties win or lose election. They don't win or lose election by what the media says. The media are partners to the job. They amplify what all political parties are saying. They do the campaign. They show the campaign. It is the media platforms on which all the campaigns are transmitted, the campaign adverts and all of that. Yes, and on election nights, media do quite a good work by covering the elections. And in covering the elections, media rely on their correspondents, and they can also check results from political parties. If a party is claiming that they have won the election, like we did on Tuesday, we go to them and we ask them, how do you know that you won the election? And they take us through their process. By the way, thank you for those who called us and said that the job we did on Tuesday with the MPP Center was a good job. Thank you very much. And we recognize that we had wide-ranging eyeballs on Facebook. That was good. But that's our responsibility as media, to ventilate and to investigate the claims of political parties. I hear a lot of sounds in this particular, confusion right now that media is being accused of declaring the election results. Whatever the state of affairs is now, whatever is going to happen on the 7th of January at the Independence Square, whatever the trigger of the laws of parliament are going to indicate, those outcomes have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with what any media has said. It has all to do with what has been gazetted by the Electoral Commission. And people who want to change what has been gazetted by the Electoral Commission should know what to do. The gracious thing is that Ghana has been here before. Ghana has really been here before. So I'm not sure why there's this confusion. Now, let me take you back. The 1992 Constitution was written sometime around 1991 or 1992. And today I've obtained a book here. Is the Ghana Consultative Assembly Register, 1991-1992. This book here, the TV is showing it. You see it on your screen as well. The Ghana Consultative Assembly Register. Now, it has the members of the Consultative Assembly who wrote the Constitution, okay? Now, the Constitution of Ghana, what we have, what we call the Constitution, is the fundamental law that governs everything that we do in Ghana. It's written, it's in the Constitution. It's written by a group of people called the Consultative Assembly. The General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketiah, was a member of the Consultative Assembly. In fact, he's listed in the book that I'm holding as a member of the Consultative Assembly, and I'll show you. This Consultative Assembly, when they sat down to write the Constitution, this is before any election could happen under this Fourth Republic. Before any election happened, they determined that when elections happen, some people might be concerned about the election. Some people might be worried about the election. Some people might have something to say about the election. before any election could happen, the Consultative Assembly, including the NDC's General Secretary, the Honorable Johnson Asiedu Nketiah, wrote in Article 64 of the 1992 Constitution, provided a means by which people can ventilate their issues as far as election is concerned. Because you see, when you choose a democracy, when you set out a democracy, you set out rules and regulations. Democracy is supposed to govern a country so that we are not governed, as they say, in a way in which life becomes nasty, brutish, and short. Life under a democracy is not nasty, it's not brutish, and it's not short. It is predictable, so that all the confluence, all the conflicts in the society, all of those things are determined and predetermined in a certain way. So as far back as 1991, the framers of the Constitution, including Johnson Asiedu Nketiah, said and determined how, if people disagreed with an election, how they challenge it. This was in the 1992 Constitution, ever before the 92 election occurred, ever before the 96 election occurred, ever before the 2000 election occurred, 2004 and 8 and 12 and 16 and 20. Long before, 26 years ago, when the framers of the Constitution sat down to deal with it, they made a determination that this is the way in which you resolve election disputes. Let's look at Article 64 of the Constitution. The validity of the election of the president may be challenged only by a citizen of Ghana who may present a petition for the purpose to the Supreme Court within 21 days after the declaration of the result of the election, in respect of which the petition is presented. So that's Article 64. This was written down in the 1992 Constitution. It was written down by the work of the Consultative Assembly. Now, have a look at the Honorable Johnson Asiedu Nketiah. He was a member of the Consultative Assembly that put the work together. He is also the General Secretary of the NDC today. So he knows very well how these things are done, because he was part of the group that predetermined that when there's an election in Ghana under the Constitution and people are not happy with the election of the president, they send a petition to the Supreme Court within 21 days of the declaration. Now, you can see on the TV now, that's Johnson Asiedu Nketiah there. Nice guy, those days. His full name, Honorable Johnson Asiedu Nketiah. Date and place of birth is 24th December. So Asiedu Nketiah's birthday is on the way. Note that. Asiedu Nketiah's birthday is Christmas Eve, 24th December. He was born in 1956. And his district is Sekwa. And his religion is Christianity. You can see all the details over there. His number of children is 3. The schools attended is St. Joseph's College, Bechem, University of Ghana School of Admin, etc., etc. So this is from the register of those who wrote the 1992 Constitution. This is the book. This is a book. I found it. It was in the library. Ghana Consultative Assembly Register, 1991 to 1992. I found the book. It's here. Johnson Asiedu Nketiah is listed there. All the other members are listed there. So now that's Johnson Asiedu Nketiah. He's a General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. He was a member of the Consultative Assembly that wrote Article 64. So yes, we understand that there's a concern, and that we've not been. This is not the first time that we have been here. So if there's a declaration, and there has been a declaration in favor of one party, the leaders of those who don't like it, they know what to do. Already next week Tuesday, 14 days would have passed. Today is Thursday. Another 5 days or so, 14 days would have passed. They will be left with 1 week to put the petition together. And they have to put the petition together and send it to the Supreme Court. This is not the first time we're here. In 2012, we knew that a petition was put together. Now, sometime around this period in 2012, after the declaration, the NPP held a press conference and indicated that they were going to go to court. And in that press conference, they outlined the details of the substance of their petition that was heading to the Supreme Court. I'd like you to see that, and then you can get a sense of what we are demanding from the NDC. These details. Now, we don't know whether the declaration will be overturned or not, no problem. But once the declaration has been done, we are in the process, and that process has been determined by the Constitution. Here is what the NPP did at that time when they were concerned about the declaration which had been done. They gave some information to the press ahead of their journey to the Supreme Court. Have a look.
Dr. Farajan told us there would not and should not be more votes in the box than were ballots given out. So why were there so many stations of obvious overvoting?
These votes amount to 1,340,080. All of this is backed by documented evidence.
So you saw Dr. Bawumia and Akufo-Addo giving some kind of evidence, over voting, this, that. You know, this is the evidence they presented because they were aware that the rules of the democracy that has been predetermined requires that after the declaration, if you are not happy with it, this is what you do. So this is what they did in 2012. Did they win the court case? No. Did they get a certain traction? Yes, they did. The Supreme Court agreed with them. 4 judges of the Supreme Court agreed with the MPP position. 4 judges of the Supreme Court agreed with the MPP position. 5 judges of the Supreme Court disagreed with the MPP position, and peace prevailed. As Media House, we determined that we will do an election petition investigation. So we did a documentary on how the election petition was carried out. Tonight I'll show you some of it, some aspects of the election petition documentary that we put out. And we actually interviewed some of the judges. The principal judge, Mr. Justice Atuguba, spoke to us. Mr. Justice Jones Doche also spoke to us about what happened. Some of the principal actors spoke to us about it. Mr. Chikata and others, they spoke to us about it. So the election petition is what you do. You go to the court with an election petition. Now, in furtherance to the Article 64 of the 1992 Constitution, this book was also released. This book, okay. Now, this book is the Manual on Election Adjudication in Ghana, 4th edition. It's a manual on election adjudication in Ghana. It's a 4th edition. So it's been 1st edition, 2nd edition, and 3rd. There's a 4th edition. Now, this is the reason why Ghana is ahead of many countries. That's the reason. That's the point. The reason why Ghana is ahead of many African countries is that our democratic systems are well developed. Our institutions are well developed. This is not the time to turn it away, and it's not going to turn away. We're going to follow the right things. The institutions that have been developed are going to deal with this. So you have this manual here that was developed by the judiciary and published before the election. You know that this Lordship Justice Kulendi was in this studio. We spoke to him about it. He was in other studios. He was engaged on it because it's predetermined that after the election, that's what happens. And now they are saying that now few amendments they have made to the 2012 situation. There cannot be a joinder of a party. Lawyers will understand that parties who are not regular or main parties to the petition cannot join, because in the last petition, the National Democratic Congress, the NDC party, was made to join the case, and now they say you cannot join. And they also say that all of the matters will be finished in 42 days from the time that the declaration is filed, which has to be filed within 21 days of from the time the petition is filed, which has to be filed within 21 days of the declaration. Then you're going to have the verdict out in 42 days, because we want to avoid the 8 months, 9 months situation that we had in 2012. So we put together that election petition, and when we were investigating what had happened, there was a big deal about on the day of the verdict, Ghanaians had to wait for hours upon hours upon hours before the verdict was given. We spoke to Justice Atuguba about that. This is what he told us.
I think the length of the wait was commensurate with the length and gravity of the matter we had to decide. This was, by all standards, a most delicate and all-important national matter. Before we finally come to a very clear decision, sometimes even when judges are going to court, it's possible for a judge to say he has changed his mind on this. It does happen. In the past, even it used to happen. So a matter like this, we wanted to be very, very, very sure of each judge's clear stand on each of the issues. And because of that, when we had to recap the issues one by one and record for finality the stance of each justice, arguments still ensued one way or the other. So we had to fine-tune the whole thing so that when the decision is rolled out, everybody his position is firmly and clearly captured.
So that was Justice Atuguba, who was the president of the court, who gave the verdict of the court. He's the one who gave the verdict of the court, and this is what he told us, because people waited for a long time before the verdict came. Now, we spoke also to the protagonists, to Philip Addison and others, but one of the key protagonists, Mr. Chikata, who had the long drawn-out battle with Alhaji Bahamadu Bawumia, then the lead petitioner, who is now the vice president. It was a long drawn-out battle between the two of them. So in our investigations, we spoke to Mr. Chikata about it, and up until the time we spoke to him, I believe still now, Mr. Chikata still feels that some of the evidence that the MPP brought to court was not justifiable evidence. This is how he expressed this in his interview to us.
There was an attempt to create, at the beginning they said 26 categories, they cut it back later to 24 categories. And they, in order, to make it credible, they try to make the categories exclusive. In other words, if you are dealing with polling stations under one head, you can't double count under another head.
Council wants to suggest that somehow we are double counting, but he's afraid to get our analysis to look and see in the analysis that we are not double counting. If he's interested in the truth, he should get me to show the court the analysis.
One of the features of that election petition was the live broadcast of the event on television, because that was also an application. There was an application that was put together for the live broadcast to occur. So in our investigation, we went to the University of Ghana to speak to Professor Odrigajepo, who is a seasoned professor of communication studies. At the time, she was the dean of the School of Communication Studies. And Odrigajepo expressed her views about how the ramifications of the live television coverage. This is what she said.
When it comes to issues of high salience with enormous public interest and also the potential for controversy, televising it allows for a lot more people to have access to the proceedings. It brings transparency, and I think it lessens the burdens on those who made the decisions, because people can sort of follow to see the outcomes.
So you saw that. So this is the history that this country is coming from. My only concern tonight is that let the people tell the key guys in charge, because one of those who can file the petition is the president. I sincerely hope that they are filing a petition. For us as media, if they file the petition, we'll cover it and we'll give it utmost coverage. Hopefully the Supreme Court will allow another live coverage, but the demonstrations that go on the streets and all of that may not answer the question. The procedure has been laid out by the Consultative Assembly in Article 64. It's been enhanced by the judiciary in the book that I showed you, and so the whole country is waiting to see what the NDC have. But they must be able to tell the court, even if they won't tell the general public what they have. Let me now come and deal with this issue about audit. Now we know that there's a call for a general audit of the situation. There's a call for, now we know that there's a call for a general audit of the Electoral Commission's results. That has now been gazetted. Now this audit cannot happen in a vacuum. I think that the lawyers around the NDC leadership should tell them that. They should know that the audits cannot occur around a vacuum. You don't just do audits of Electoral Commission's results. That's not how you do it. The audit is going to happen pursuant to what law? Ghana is a democracy. It's a country of laws. It's a country of constitution. It's a country of acts of parliament. So we have legislated these things. The audits that you're looking for can actually happen within the context of the petition. We haven't forgotten that in the 2012-2013 election petition, there was an audit of Pink Sheet. It was conducted by KPMG, the famous auditing company. They conducted it. An application was made to the court. The court was urged to call for an audit. The court agreed. They called for an audit. KPMG came in to audit the Pink Sheet that has been submitted by the MPP for the various categories of offenses that the MPP believed that they had identified. Offenses of overvoting, offenses of unsigned Pink Sheets, offenses of numbers and figures don't match, offenses of all different categories related to the Pink Sheet was audited by KPMG upon the instructions of the court. So the audit that President Mahama is calling for, it's a good thing. You can audit, but you cannot audit in a vacuum. You have to audit within the context of the application that goes before the Supreme Court. That's what we have decided as a country. So my simple simple, as they say, 50p or 20 pesos opinion. My simple 20 pesos opinion is that you can do all the demonstrations you want, but if you want to help the democracy and if you want to sustain the democracy and let the democracy bear out its fruits, you would have to send the evidence to the Supreme Court so that it's ventilated. That's what the Constitution said we should do. That's what we saw happen in 2012. So we are waiting for that. That's what I'm saying. When Tuesday comes, 14 days is gone. We have 21 days maximum to file. The petition must be filed. The petition will be opposed. According to the law that the Supreme Court sent out, once you file, within 10 days of filing, the other parties must oppose it and they must say whether they want to bring an application to dismiss it altogether. The Supreme Court will consider all of these matters and they will come to a verdict. Within 42 days after the process begins, the process will end. They'll come to a verdict and all Ghanaians can move on. For now, the declaration of the Electoral Commission is what state protocol is working with, because state protocol have begun the processes towards January 7th. January 7th is an important day in the democratic calendar of the country called Ghana, and whatever it is, January 7th is going to happen. So state protocol are working with the declaration of the Electoral Commission. They are not working with Metro TV's results. State protocol don't kick in the processes for January 7th with Metro TV's results, with TV3's results, with Joy FM's results, or with City TV's results, or with UTV or Peace FM results. That's not what state protocol does. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not going to write invitation letters to Alhaji Muhammadu Buhari, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are not going to write to the ECOWAS president. They are not going to write to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. They are not going to write to the British Prime Minister based on Metro TV's results of the election 2020. No, they're not going to write based on Joy FM's results of election 2020. That's not what they're going to do. Joy FM, Metro TV, Peace FM's results are immaterial. They are inconsequential to anything. Today, Electoral Commission says 137 seats have been won by the NDC, irrespective of what Metro TV said, irrespective of what TV3 said. What matters is the declaration. You saw what happened in America 2 days ago or 3 days ago, 13 December. The Secretary of States of all the states declared the election results that was run on the 4th of November. That's when they declared the results. And it is upon that declaration that one of Donald Trump's best friends, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, has now congratulated Joe Biden, the president-elect of the United States. That's how it works. It doesn't matter what CNN does. It is the Secretary of State of all the states that give the final, authentic, legal results. It's not the media. The media can say all what they want. And forecasters that can forecast all what they want. Pastors and malams can forecast all what they want. What matters is what the Electoral Commission says. And once a declaration is made, the state institutions begin to work towards 7 January. Nothing is going to stop them. The only thing that can stop them is a petition to the Supreme Court that reverses the verdict of the Electoral Commission. That's the important thing. So that's what we need to look for, and that's what we are waiting for. And you know, people have been quarreling on Facebook, and this is my final comment on that. As I said, it's my 20 pesos opinion. You can decide to do what you want with it. Now, people have been commenting on Facebook, showing videos. I have the videos. I don't want to show them because I want to do a serious work tonight. I don't want to be petty. But there are videos of President Mahama, given the same situation, saying that MPP should go to court. There are online stories of Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader, saying in 2012 that MPP should stop the noise and go to court. There's President Mahama in a video saying that MPP should go to court. That's not important for our concern tonight. What we are saying tonight in summary is that a system has been put in place. That system was put in place ever before the first election occurred. Johnson Asiedu Nketiah was part of that system. The Consultative Assembly that wrote the 1992 Constitution, they determined that during presidential election issues, when people have issues, is in Article 64, a person, a citizen of Ghana, being the losing candidate, can go to the Supreme Court. And recently, the Supreme Court have updated it in the Manual on Election Adjudication in Ghana. Ghana is a serious country. Ghana is a very, very serious country. And the rest of Africa is looking on to us. Not many African countries have this arrangement. Ghana has the arrangement. So my 20 pesos opinion is that let's wait. Let's see. Let's hope that those who have the evidence that the election results as declared by the Electoral Commission is wrong will proceed to the court, so that we will do what we did again in 2013. And we know that after the 2013 election results, the Supreme Court settled it. in the judgment. And you remember the judgment. Justice Tuguba appeared after the long hours of wait and said that after everything has been considered, the petition fails and that the first respondent was validly elected. People have not forgotten that because he spoke very well that day. He said the first respondent was validly elected. John Dramani Mahama was validly elected in the 2012 election. After 8 months of court processes, the first respondent, John Dramani Mahama, at that time the sworn-in president, was validly elected. If we find ourselves in the same place today, we do the same thing. We don't go and bend ties and do that. You can do demonstrations. That's allowed. Under the Constitution, you can demonstrate and you can express yourself in demonstrations, but that's not going to change the declaration of the Electoral Commission until and unless there's a Supreme Court action. And we thank God for all Ghanaians that what happened after the Supreme Court by a slim 4-5 majority had determined that the President Mahama was validly elected. What did the petitioner do? Instead of seeking a review of the decision that could have taken another 3 months to happen, this is what Nana Akufo-Addo said on that bright Thursday afternoon in Accra.
Whilst I disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept that what the court says brings finality to the election dispute. We shall not be asking for a review of the verdict, so we can all move on in the interest of our nation. Everything in my bones, in my upbringing, and in what I have done with my life thus far makes it imperative that I accept a decision made by the highest court of the land, however much I dislike or disagree with it.
Okay, so that is my 20 pesos opinion. We are done, and you can look at it on social media and video on demand.